Don't think, just do is such a powerful perspective that you can take to change so many fundamental beliefs in your life in order to level up and achieve new things that you'd never be able to if you didn't care enough to give yourself that self-love. Now, getting trapped in your head doesn't ever serve you any purpose. You know, maybe you're trying to overcome an obstacle and need to work your way through it, but why aren't you taking action? You can't just sit there and, oh, well, I can try to calibrate for this, calculate that. That can only go so far, because once you actually start to execute, that's when you can actually get the data, get the input, and realize that you taking the action is really what moves you forward in life. And you can plan ahead, it may be great, but if you're thinking about things, you're not getting that reference experience. You're not actually doing, taking action, getting results. And I mean, you can wallow and be the, oh, well, it could work out, couldn't work out type of person where you trip yourself up a lot and you don't take action and move yourself forward. If you're gonna, have a plant grow, you gotta give it water, you gotta give it sunlight, you gotta give it good nutrients in the soil. But if you're not taking that action to cultivate a healthy environment, ecosystem for that plant, it's not gonna grow. Just like yourself, if you're not taking any action, if you're not doing and you're just thinking, then you're not gonna be able to move forward at all. And a lot of times coming up with ideas is probably, stopping you from actually executing. There's the woulda, coulda, shoulda of the past, but when you future project, it's the, well, it could go this way, it could go that way, it could go that way. And you get caught in between of like, well, my past reference experiences can help me try to, project into the future how I could properly execute and what I have available to me in the now. I can use this as a tool for that. But all these ideas and brainstorming only goes so far, because it's great to think a thought and it sounds cool, feels cool to, have manifested, cultivated, constructed, whatever reality you're hoping to achieve. But back to that action, it's empty. It's like a chalkboard and you're just writing on it, or a whiteboard and you're just writing on it, piece of paper, you're just writing on it. It has nothing's come of it yet. You haven't executed. And those ideas, they can become so huge, you can invest so much in them, and that investment gets you tied to the thought of it, and you get detached from getting into the process and actually living it out, seeing it to fruition. Because if you've invested that much into the thought, into this idea, to see it not work out is it would hurt. You're like, wow, I invested all this mental energy, all this vision, I made it feel like it was part of myself, I resonated with it, and then all of a sudden you have to take action. What if it doesn't go right? All these great ideas that you've built yourself up, built your beliefs up upon, which is then you've internalized it as part of yourself, can now fall apart, and then all that time will have been wasted. So a lot of times, people won't execute because they love the idea so much. They love the thought of feeling like they're the one who lives that life, who is in the process of doing that. But in reality, they're not taking any action, because for them to go against themselves and actually, not achieve what they want is more hurtful than just being able to live in the fantasy world of, oh, well, I have all these great ideas, I'm the idea person, I have all these great visions of things that I'm going to do, but they don't become that person, because for them to fail would mean that, wow, this image they've built of themselves was a lie the whole time, and they couldn't accept that they were wrong, because then, wow, that means my whole life I've been thinking all these things, and where else have I had blind spots? And then they don't want to be that critical of an evaluator of themselves and take the time to audit. And it's either you're looking for an excuse at that point, or like you're like trying to come up with a reason to not take action, because having ideas only goes so far, because it's an idea, and if you're not doing anything, then I don't know, you played yourself. You're just going to be stagnant. All right, reflect on what I just said for real. Just do a quick audit from a place of self-love and look critically at yourself. Don't judge yourself, but try to find areas where you have chosen to turn a blind eye to limiting beliefs. Things that you've just accepted. Well, I'm not that person. I'm this person. Stuck in thoughts dwelling of the past and future. Get present to the moment. Realize that you are enough. You don't need approval. Don't need validation. You don't need to adhere to caring about, what people will think about you. Get present. Realize that you are enough. That social conditioning, self-imposed conditioning, has implanted limiting beliefs in you that are keeping you from realizing that you can achieve whatever you want to right now. Let's just get present to the moment. Breathe in for 5 seconds. Hold the breath for 5 seconds. Breathe out for 5 seconds. Now, I hope you're able to show yourself that self-love, still your mind, still those thoughts. Come to a place of presence where you realize that in the now you are enough. And audit yourself throughout your life, throughout the day, moment to moment, as much as possible, to catch yourself when you fall into these thought loops of false identity that are stifling you from living life the way you want to. Because in your core confidence, you need to internalize that you are enough. It really comes down to whether you're looking for a path or looking for an excuse, whether you're going to do or whether you're going to think. And a lot of times, the lack of execution, because you've built up such a sense of self-worth off of these ideas, these thoughts that you've had, that a lot of the times, fall into excuses. Oh, well, why haven't you done this yet? Oh, well, I need this, that, and the third. Oh, well, it just might not work out. I want everything to be perfect. Perfectionism, self-judgment, falling into repetitive thought loops. There's so many negative, detrimental things that a lot of people get caught in because they're looking for more excuses to not take action, to not actually be about it, do things. Whereas there are people, on the other hand, who are looking for the path. They're like, all right, well, if I have this thing and I want to do it, what can I do now to try to get there? Even if it's not the first, preferred step, they're willing to take a step forward. And a lot of the times that will then yield a lot more of a benefit than trying to plan or think. Those excuses are easy to catch excuses. People live their whole lives making excuses. Why aren't you successful right now in what you want to be successful in? Because you've made excuses as to why you haven't taken action to do the things that it would take to get there. Whereas the people who are becoming successful, actually taking action, and it may not be, oh, I got the merit, I got the title, I got the goal, I have something tangible to show for it. It could be just the small bits of leveling up. And big shout out to RSD. One of the things that they always say is it's like a 0.001% add-on, and then another 0.001%. And those 0.001% add up and add up and add up and add up, and then you have a percent. But how are you going to get there if you don't start looking for the path, figuring out, oh, what does this work? Does that work? You have the idea. You're in all these excuses, but when are you taking yourself out of that conditioned reality where, oh, well, you're good enough if you have the drive? Well, the drive doesn't do anything if you don't take action. You could be all in, super invested, super driven, passionate about something, but if you're not, stacking those little wins and taking the little action, you'll never get anywhere. And those people who differentiate themselves by picking the path over the excuse are the ones who are in love with the process. They don't care about, whether they get to skip the line and get to the end, because they know they're going to get there, but they're willing to take the action. They love the process. They're out there doing it. They're doing versus thinking. And say, going back to that example, the 0.001%, if you're filling up a cup with water, it takes a lot of molecules of water, then it takes a lot of drops of water, and it takes a lot of, I don't know, pick a larger measurement, but the point is, it takes small bits to fill up something with water. You could just pour a lot of water in at one time. You could wait, come up with excuses until you have the perfect set of tools to then fill the cup, to then achieve your goal, to take the preferred action. Or you could be like, hey, well, I can get some water right here. Boom, I got a little bit of water. All right, well, that was only a little bit of water. How's the way I can get more water? And you go over here, you get more water. And through doing, not only are you actually living life, but you're actually choosing the path as opposed to choosing the excuses. And it's not just, well, oh, well, I'm waiting because I know that I can do it better this way. It's are you going to train yourself to operate in that mode? Because if you hesitate on taking action and choosing the path and you dwell in excuses, where else in your life are you also settling for less and dwelling in excuses? Think of, I don't know, I'll start later. That procrastination, that's a version of that. Are you choosing to execute? Or are you going to be lazy and choose to do it later? And I mean, you may not be in the mood for it, but where are you changing almost like the amount of light that you're shining onto what you want? You know, are you choosing a little dim flashlight of low effort? Or are you choosing like this blinding searchlight where you're like, I can see everything? You know, are you walking through with a little candle, or are you coming through with a whole torch? You know, are you choosing, I'm gonna go gung-ho on this path, or are you half-assing it and not executing by choosing little excuses? You know, and it's all about how much you want to invest in yourself, because these reoccurring habits will deeply root themselves in you if you don't take the time to audit. You know, say you have a really large goal that you're trying to get to, but if you're, you know, not doing and you're thinking, you're never going to get there. Whereas you may be able to wait and then kind of get there if you know, take the right steps. But then again, you're not about that life. You're not really doing it. So make sure that you're not falling to the excuses. You know, you're able to enjoy the process, and you're able to move forward executing on things that you find enjoyable. You have to cut yourself off from the version of you that doesn't want success. If you wanted success, you would be willing to go for those small level ups to add on to yourself little by little. You need to let yourself get into a flow state where you can shut off the thinking mind and just do. Because all in all, if you're not doing and you're just dwelling, you're never going to get anywhere. But it's in your hands to do so and to build that effective habit where you'll be able to then continuously, now on more of an autopilot, fall into taking action, finding the path and doing, instead of dwelling, making excuses and thinking. Because that execution comes from a place of I really want it. I'm in it to be in it. I'm doing. I come from a state of my first instinct is to do, not to just sit and think and then never do. Or if I do something, wait and do it later. Are you really going to take action? You're going to be chilling. Are you going to lack, think, dwell, you know, create excuses, not execute? Or are you going to find the path? Are you going to take action? Are you going to do? And it all comes down to how much self-love you have for yourself, because are you going to start to train yourself over time through repeated exposure to, you know, be the person who thinks I have great ideas. I eventually may execute on them, but, you know, I think I come up with excuses to not do so that I can, you know, be perfectionist and curate it more and try to compensate for things. Or you're going to be the person who trains yourself to be like, all right, I have this idea, spend less time thinking, more time doing. How am I going to get there? What's going to work? What's not going to work? I have to do it myself. I have to take initiative, take action, find the path, and do. And it's the repeated exposure of this that will seep into other habits in your life. You know, are you the person who, when you see someone you want to talk to, you immediately go for it? You know, you see the path, you take action. Are you thinking, oh, what will they think? You get stuck in your head. When you have a goal that you want to achieve, and you know you need to be the one to execute, you can't rely on other people, are you going to be the one who then comes up with excuses like, oh, well, can I wait until I find someone else who can help me do it, this, that, and the third? Or are you going to be like, wow, well, it's me, it's just me, I got to get to it, let's go, let's get into it, let's take action, first step. And then it doesn't just, you know, build that habit of, well, you take action, or do you just sit and think? It also builds, you know, confidence. You're stacking wins. You know, it builds a lack of self-judgment. You know, you're now relying on yourself. You don't need external things. There's so many benefits to doing instead of thinking that over time it may not come as quickly as you want, but it builds a foundation of core confidence where you're out of your head. You're not stuck in the social conditioning of, think of social conditioning. How many people are socially conditioned to just think, to come up with excuses and to not execute, versus the people who have escaped that social conditioning of, oh, you're enough, you're fine just the way you are, and been like, but I want to be more. I need to find the path. I need to do. No one else is going to do. I could sit here and consume media, consume content, or I can do. I can create. I can get out there, get that field experience, and then build that confidence. Build that foundation of, I am the type of person who achieves my goals because I do things. Or you're going to be the person who settles for less and is conditioned to just, oh, you can get by, you're doing all right. You know, it's a very fine line of distinguishing, are you going to be a loser or are you going to be a winner? Are you really going to be that person who thinks, or are you going to be the person who does? And don't think, just do. You know, you don't need to come up with all these ideas where you have too many things that you're trying to do where you can't execute because you don't know which one to start on. You know, you're not looking for excuses. You're the one who does. You're looking for the path. You don't need anything to delay you from taking action. That 0.001% of a level up is good enough because you took action. How much are you going to wait, or how long are you going to wait to get that much of a level up? Are you going to wait, think more, and then maybe take action and get that level up? Or are you going to do? Are you going to go for that level up and then be like, oh, well, let me get a bunch more level ups and then get a lot more level ups? You know, doing always comes through in the clutch. You can be the person who sits in a chair or stands up. The person who stood up built a little bit of muscle. They built a little bit of reference experience, and then they took a step forward. They took that step forward, they built a little more reference experience, a little more muscle memory. Then they go and they actually do something. Concrete reference experience. But it takes you actually getting up, getting out of your head, and taking action to get out of the thinking mind and to get into that flow state where you feel like you're the one who's in control. And a lot of times people think that, you know, they don't have the right to do because of external circumstances. They've been socially conditioned to think that they can only achieve this goal if they've been validated by other people. They've been given the tools to do so. They've been, you know, set up with the lifestyle and the resources and a certain set of abundance, you know, many factors. These arbitrary things don't mean anything. You know, they've been tricked into thinking that, socially conditioned into thinking that they need something else in order to do. When in reality, the people who have separated themselves from that social conditioning and actually do are like, wow, it's me. I'm the operator. I'm the one who's controlling myself. I'm not at the whim of other people. You know, I'm the one who gets to choose my destiny, where I want to go, what I want to do, and how quickly I'll be able to achieve it. But that comes from disassociating yourself from needing other things and really realizing you are enough. At your core, fundamentally, you are enough. There's nothing else you could possibly need. All you need to do is have faith in you and build that habit of getting out of your head, detaching from social conditioning, and doing. Then, as you get the reference experiences, you'll be like, whoa, I was tripping this whole time thinking, coming up with excuses, not looking for the path. All I had to do was shut it off, just shut up and do. Instead of talking about it, talking all this game, coming up with all these ideas, yap, I did something. I shut it out. I already had the premise, had the goal. I just figured out what worked. So get into the habit of giving yourself the self-love of doing and not thinking. It'll pay off so much more than just thinking and not doing. Just think of the words: doing, thinking, doing, action, thinking, thoughts. So do, don't think. Now, it's hard to achieve anything and to get out of thinking and actually do if you don't feel that hunger. You know, you have to feel that hunger. It's not in your head. You know, you can't just randomly just be like, oh, well, okay, today I'm going to want to do it. No, you have to feel it. You have to really resonate with the process you have to be willing to go through whatever it is that's between you and your goal. You have to be hungry for it. If you're not hungry, then are you gonna go out of your way to cook a awesome meal? No, you got to be hungry. Like, well, I'm craving this. I really want it. Now I'm willing to put in the effort to do it. Get the ingredients. Take the small steps. Put them together, and then get the final result. And all in all, it just comes down to that: taking action, getting actual results. And even if the recipe doesn't come out bomb, and you're like, it needs salt, it's lacking this, I had to substitute this ingredient for that, at least you've gotten a result. You can now say you do that. You've done that. You can tell yourself and know for yourself, wow, I'm actually this person now. I've taken time for myself. I've invested in myself. I've taken that action and I've gotten the result. I was hungry for it. I see it. I want it. I get it. I train my brain to have the hunger, to have the desire, to actually want it and go for it. And it's hard to condition yourself when you've been conditioned to settle for less for so long to actually have hunger to do things. Say if you don't see the importance of getting out of your head, how will you ever get out of social conditioning? How will you ever, break away from settling for less? There's many levels to it, but all in all, it's if you don't take the action, like, oh, well, I need to get out of my head. What will it take for me to get out of my head? Why am I overthinking things? Why am I catching myself lacking by wasting time dwelling? Why don't I take a breath? Wow. That first step of taking the breath, taking action, you get the result of a reference experience where you're like, whoa, I can pause long enough to do something like a breath that takes me out of my head. You have that reference experience, you took action. Now, you have that result. Whoa, I did something and I got a result. Now you build upon that. You now have the core confidence of, wow, if taking my breath can get me out of my head, I took action. What else do I need to do? I need to be more conscious of my breath throughout the day. What benefit does that do? Then you have a little bit more mindfulness. You go throughout your day taking deeper breaths, getting out of your head for longer. And you could be the one who thinks, going back to don't just think, do. You could be the one who thinks like, oh yeah, well, I read these books, I read about meditation, I listened to these lectures, and I know what needs to be done. But are you actually doing anything? Are you taking action? Are you getting any results from all these thoughts about stuff that you've learned? Are you putting yourself deeper in your head by just having a bunch of knowledge? Or are you coming out of your head, leaving social conditioning? You've been conditioned to settle for less. If you're stuck in your head and you're thinking as your primary focus, the way you go about doing things, I'm going to think about it. Then action taking as your secondary, then you're putting a huge delay on, well, how much do you need to think? Are you being conditioned to be that person who just, I think, come up with a lot of great ideas, but that excuse of, yeah, I'm thinking, not taking action is you not being hungry for anything. You settling for less. Oh no, I don't need it. I'm okay. I'll think about it, yeah. Or you can take action, be like, wow, I got a result. I want more of this. Take more action and fuel yourself. Even if it's just that small little bit of a gain, it adds up. But if you don't have that hunger, then what's going to keep you to wanting to get small little win, and stacking those wins? Nothing. You've been conditioned. Oh, well, if it's not the immediate instant gratification, then why would I put in the work? Then you've settled for less. You've gotten instant gratification from so many other things. You thought about it. It wasn't attainable. You thought about it, and then you were able to get it. Oh, wow. Well, that was quick. You've compounded a whole bunch of instant gratification as opposed to enjoying the little bit, leveling up and taking action and getting small results that end up being a large result. And the process has to be your oxygen. It's mandatory. You have to, just wake up every single day and know that just as crucial as it is for you to breathe, it's crucial for you to take action. Are you going to sleep all day? Feels good. That's that instant gratification, settling for less. Or are you going to, I have to take action. In order for tomorrow's me to be a better version, I have to take some action today. Are you going to let that be your oxygen? You know, you come from a place of stepping out of that socially conditioned stagnation, breaking through and being like, I take action, whatever small action it may be, get that momentum going. You know, you wake up, you have to make the process your oxygen. Wow, what's my first step going to be? Take that first step. Oh, wow, that was a win. Shout out to RSD again. 1,000 out of 10. Why are you rating things on a scale of 1 to 10? No, the fact that you took action. Think of how many people are settling for less and are never going to amount to anything, never going to achieve their goals, are going to think, come up with excuses, and not be hungry, not want what they think they do. They're going to get stuck in settling for thinking that if they think about it, that they're getting closer to their goal. Think of how many people are going to do that today, just today alone. You just took a breath, took a moment for yourself to get out of your head. The process has to be your oxygen. You have to live for it, or else what's going to drive you from your bed, laying watching Netflix, getting up and taking action? Where's the incentive? Where's the drive? Where's the hunger? And it doesn't necessarily have to be for the end goal. It could be just, wow, I got that little level up today. I know that today I grew. I added some experience points to my real life version of me. And I do this in many ways, whether it be, oh, I ate some healthy stuff today. I drank water instead of some junk today. You know, I did a little exercise today. All those little level ups are awesome. They're taking action. I'm like, all right, well, every little bit of my day is 1,000 out of 10. I got up. 1,000 out of 10. I engaged. 1,000 out of 10. Building that mindset of I'm a winner, I'm a winner, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. There's nothing else I can do but win because I take action. Not, oh, I'm a winner. I came up with a lot of good ideas today. You know, I did some research. I know what to do. I mean, technically, that could be counted as a win. You know, instead of not doing something that was beneficial for your growth, you learned something. But if you think about it and don't execute on it, then it lost its value. You know, you're not using the tool of whatever knowledge to execute. You're just using the knowledge of, oh, well, I know what I should be doing, to be an excuse. Feel like you're getting closer to your goal, but not really doing anything at all. So wake up, make that oxygen that you breathe every day feel as refreshing to your body as when you take action. When you take action, when you take that first step and you're like, all right, I'm gonna wake up. Wow. What am I gonna do with my day today? Where am I going? Let's take that first step of action. Boom. All right, I'm in the process. Boom. I'm leveling up. I'm getting there. Get these gains. Yeah. It's gotta be waking up every single day, and you know, having that hustle, having that hunger, having that reference experience of taking action and getting results is what will develop that new version of you. You'll be able to leave that old version of you that didn't resonate with taking action behind and move forward into a state of abundance, seeing opportunity by taking so much action, getting results, and really disassociating from that unconscious you that settled for less, that you that would think and not do. But it's in your hands. You have the power within you. You are enough. You may have been socially conditioned, or you conditioned yourself from your surroundings, your upbringings, the stimulus you choose, the people you surround yourself with. So many factors that you could put the blame on. But once you realize that it's in your power to do instead of thinking, you know, don't just think, do. Once you realize that all you have to do is take action, then either you choose to move forward and level up, or you played yourself and you're going to get left behind. And that you is going to stay behind. So you are enough. Don't need anything else. All you need to do is take action and get out of your head. What are you doing for yourself? Are you giving yourself self-love? Are you building yourself up to be the most lit person in the cosmos? You are only going to get to experience your subjective experience of life, moment to moment to moment to moment. Altogether, that life will have been yours. No one else can get inside of your body and move around as you and see through the lens of you. Only you can. So, how are you going to get tired of being yourself? Where does that lack of hunger come from? Are you doing something for someone else's validation? For someone else's desires, wants, and needs? Or are you really doing it for yourself? And why are you doing things for other people and not putting yourself first? Why is it that, you don't take action and you think? Is it because you're trying to accommodate for someone else and what they may think of you? Or are you going to dismiss these thoughts about what other people would think, what they would say, how they've reacted and interacted with you in the past, and really realize that every moment the old version of you is dead and gone. And as you move through time-space, a new version of you is ever evolving. If that's the case, who are you to judge yourself on the past version of you? That person's gone. Irrelevant. The reference experiences are still there. You are a result of that past version of you, but things have changed moment to moment to moment to moment. So how can you get tired of being yourself? There's something wrong with the way that you're perceiving things. You're stuck in your head. You're taking other things into account and putting that before yourself and your own enjoyment of being yourself. So when it comes to doing things, if you're not executing and taking actions because you're stuck in your head, listening to a thought loop of something someone else said way back, it's completely irrelevant, but you held on to. These thoughts, these limiting beliefs that are keeping you from taking action and doing and leaving you stuck in thought, dwelling, were put there by someone else. You may have thought that you wanted something, wanted a goal, but never had the hunger for it, never had that true desire for it. Now, it may be because you don't really want it and you just told yourself you wanted it. Maybe that someone else told you that you should want it, so then you believe that it's something that you should desire. But, if it's not resonating with you, let it go. You can always come back to it. But why dwell and judge yourself and demean your self-worth based off of not getting to that goal when, you don't enjoy the process? So if it's not coming naturally, leave it behind. Choose something else and take action. See if that is enjoyable. Don't dwell, don't get stuck, don't get hung up on things. There should be a flow state. You should walk through life all day, every day, in a flow state, a state of release. You shouldn't be trying to control things. You shouldn't feel like you're not enough and that there's a scarcity that you need to, oh no, it's me versus the world, me versus everyone else. There should be abundance. You should be like, well, they're here, but I'm a flow through. I'm a slide this way. Ooh, haters away. All these thoughts, let me get them out my head. Let me get these thoughts out my head. Let me silence my mind. So that way I can, be myself. Enjoy being myself. Doing what comes naturally. Not trying to be in resistance, but being in acceptance, being in a flow state. Choosing to do because it's something I want to do. Not because it's something I think I need to do. Let go of the thoughts. Take the action. If it doesn't feel right, leave it behind. It should come naturally. Should enjoy it naturally. And maybe it's that, you just aren't willing to put in the work to get what you want. Well, accept that you're going to choose to settle to be a loser, or find a way to turn that into a hunger and a desire to get what you want. You have all the tools you need. You don't need other people to tell you, how to be yourself, how to do things and make them feel good to you. It should come naturally. If you really get out of your head, wake up and get out of your head, take action, and stop thinking, everything will work out. It'll come naturally. and it'll just flow so smoothly, so effortlessly, because you won't need anything but yourself. You won't be able to wait for things because you'll realize you have everything that you need. And if it's just you, how much effort does it take to take a step forward in action? Are you going to think about, well, how is this step going to go? Is there ground under my foot? Is the wind going to blow me? Is there an object someone could push me? Is it stable ground? You could think, or you could just do, and then, oh, couldn't take the step there. Take the step there. Okay, that felt good. Take the step here. Take the step here. I'm leveling up. I'm getting these small reference experiences. I'm taking action. I'm getting out of my head. I'm learning to be a better me who doesn't get stuck in thought, make excuses. I find the path. I don't need other things. I'm enough as is. And really realizing you are enough will get you out of your head. Taking a breath. Let's take a breath right now. That in 5, hold 5, out 5, and just realize as you take that breath, I am enough. I don't need anything else. I am enough. I don't need to think anymore. I can take action because I am enough. I don't need anything else. All right, let's do it. And just say it to yourself, I am enough. And mean it. I am enough. I can take action right now. I can get out of my head. I can do whatever needs to be done right now. Take that first small step. Get that first little bit of a level up, that 0.001%. And the taste of that result from taking action, it's not going to satiate my hunger. I'm going to want more. I'm going to fall in love with the process because it's what I want to do. I am enough. I can take action. I don't need to think anymore. You got this. I have all faith in you. But it takes you giving yourself self-love every day, moment to moment. You know, you've been living your whole life stuck in thought, dwelling, stagnating, questioning yourself. But all it takes is you giving yourself the permission to break free, move forward, and execute. Take massive action. Take right action. What feels good to you. You being you. Because that's all that matters. You're only going to live your life. Are you going to live it for yourself, or are you going to live it for other people? Don't just think. Do.